Stop waiting for motivation. It's not coming. If you're the type who starts on Monday fired up, new plan, new energy, and by Wednesday, you're back in the scroll hole, drowning in distractions, this isn't about willpower. That's the lie most people believe. This is about something deeper, something unshakable, commitment, not the kind you make when you're hyped up after a podcast. I'm talking about the kind of commitment that kicks in after the hype wears off. I'm going to show you exactly what separates the talkers from the doers, the dabblers from the disciplined, the people who chase goals like a hobby and the ones who make them non-negotiable. And here's the kicker. It has nothing to do with being smarter, more talented, or having more time. It's about building a system so frictionless, so identity-driven, that showing up stops being optional. If you're done playing games with your potential, if you're ready to finally commit in a way that actually sticks, let's go. Here's what's really going on when you say, I lost motivation. You didn't lose anything. You never had commitment. What you had was a dopamine rush from setting a goal that sounded good in the moment. That's not discipline. That's mood-based hype, and it dies fast. Most people confuse a good mood with a real decision. They write their goals like Instagram captions, short, vague, and for the likes. But when it's time to show up, to work in silence, to choose long-term gains over short-term hits, they vanish. Why? Because the goal they set wasn't real. It wasn't tied to purpose. It didn't align with their values. It wasn't anchored to anything meaningful. So the second life punches them in the face, it crumbles. Let's be brutally honest. Most people don't commit because they hadn't built a goal around their identity. They build it around who they wish they were, not who they're willing to become. They want the win, but not the work. They want the outcome, but not the transformation. And the cost? They keep starting over and over, year after year. New planner, same story. Here's the shift. Motivation is emotional. Commitment is behavioral. Motivation is for people who wait to feel right. Commitment is for people who act, regardless of how they feel. Once you understand that difference, everything changes. You stop being controlled by moods. You stop relying on hype, and you start building outcomes that stick. Because you became the person who sticks. That's the real flex. Not how fired up you are today, but how unshakable you are when the fire fades. Look, let's get this straight. Commitment is not hype. It's not a motivational quote. It's a decision that becomes non-negotiable. It's not, I'll try. It's, I will, no matter what. Most people confuse effort with commitment. Trying harder isn't commitment. That's just survival mode. True commitment is identity level. It's the shift from, I want this, to, this is who I am. You want to change your life? Stop setting goals you hope you'll hit, and start creating commitments you refuse to break. Here's the difference. A goal is something you write on a piece of paper. A commitment is something you tattoo on your identity. You don't try to walk if your legs work. You don't hope to breathe. You just do it, because that's who you are. That's how real commitment works. It removes the need for negotiation. You're no longer looking for ways out. You're looking for ways through. Now let's talk about discipline without commitment. That's just a temporary behavior change. Commitment is greater than discipline. In fact, commitment fuels discipline. It transforms hard tasks into default behavior. Think about it. Brushing your teeth isn't hard because you're committed to not losing them. You don't battle yourself to put on pants in the morning because you're committed to not getting arrested. It's automatic because your identity made the decision long before your feelings had a vote. Studies show that people with strong commitment patterns tolerate discomfort better, bounce back faster, and stay focused longer. Why? Because commitment reduces identity conflict. You don't have to wrestle with yourself about doing hard things when your sense of self requires it. That's how you go from reactive to unstoppable. So want to stop falling off track? Quit trying harder and start committing deeper. This isn't about grinding any further. It's about aligning your goals with who you decide to become, and then removing all exit strategies. And if you don't know what your true purpose, your true goal is, or you think you know but haven't defined it yet, that's why we created a previous video with a step-by-step guide on how to find your true goal. I suggest you watch it in full. I'll leave it at the end of this video. Now let's continue. Let's get into how you build that kind of commitment next. Let's talk about the trap too many people fall into, waiting for motivation. Motivation is a liar. It's unreliable by design, tied to how you slept, who texted you back, what your bank account looks like this week. It rises when life feels good and vanishes the second you hit discomfort. That's not a strategy. That's a gamble. High performers, they don't play that game. They act committed, not motivated. And guess what? Motivation shows up once the work is already in motion. That's the secret. They move first, feel later. Because if you wait to feel ready, you'll be waiting forever. Mood-independent people build momentum not because they always feel great, but because they've decided their future matters more than their feelings. Tired doesn't matter. Fear doesn't matter. They do the damn thing anyway. And why? Because they decided that identity trumps emotion. This isn't about ignoring your feelings. It's about not being ruled by them. Committed runners don't skip because it rains. Committed creators don't quit because views are low. They show up because that's who they are. And here's the loop no one teaches you in school. Listen, commitment drives action. Action builds results. Results grow confidence, and confidence strengthens commitment. It's good loop. But if you're sitting around waiting to feel inspired, you're choosing delay over progress, and that's on you. So build systems that don't care how you feel. Put your focus time when your brain is sharp. Set up triggers so your environment pushes you toward progress, not distraction. Stack the deck so it's easier to win than to retreat. That's how the pros do it. They don't run on willpower, they run on systems. Commitment becomes the default. Motivation just tries to keep up. So if motivation fades and moods lie, what's left? You, your word, your choices when nobody's watching. See, this isn't just about hitting a goal, it's about becoming someone you actually respect. And that shift, it begins with one brutal but freeing realization. No one is coming to save you. Not motivation, not a mentor, not a magic routine. Just you, showing up when it's boring, uncomfortable, or thankless. That's the moment your life changes. When you stop outsourcing your consistency to external hype and start making real, no excuse commitments to yourself. Not based on how you feel, but on who you're deciding to become. Let's talk about what that really looks like. Hey there, I'm Mark, and I'm genuinely excited you're here investing in your growth. Before we dive deeper into today's strategy, I want to ask you a quick favor that takes just 2 seconds but makes a huge difference. If you're finding value in this content, hit that subscribe button and tap the like. It's completely free and helps us reach more people who need these game-changing strategies. Your support directly fuels our mission to help thousands transform their lives. Thanks for being part of this community. Now let's jump right back into the breakthrough strategies that are about to change everything for you. Because most people never learn how to commit to their own goals in a way that actually means something. Here's the brutal truth most people avoid. They treat their own goals like casual suggestions, soft maybes instead of non-negotiables. They'll bend over backwards to show up for their boss, a deadline, a friend, but flake on themselves without a second thought. And every time you do that, you're not just skipping a workout or ignoring a plan. You're quietly telling your nervous system, I don't trust myself. That's not just a mindset issue, it's an identity fracture. Because self-integrity is the foundation of everything. Your confidence, your follow-through, your ability to execute under pressure, it all hinges on whether or not you believe your own word holds weight. Most people don't, and they wonder why they feel stuck. You want to break that cycle? Start here. Stop treating your commitments to yourself like wish lists. Surface-level goals are cheap. Anyone can say, I want to get fit, or I want to build a business. But deep commitment? That's identity-driven. That's when you stop chasing and start embodying. I want to lose weight becomes I am someone who honors my health. I want to write a book becomes I am a writer. Language matters. Identity matters. And when your actions match your identity, you don't need hype or accountability partners. You show up because that's just who you are now. And look, you're not broken for slipping. Most people have hardwired self-betrayal on autopilot. You start strong, get tired, get distracted, and boom, you're off track. That doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. But it also means you need a new standard. And that standard is this. When you mess up, you don't restart on Monday. You recommit right now. Because this game isn't about perfection. It's about building a track record of self-respect. Every time you keep your word to yourself, you reinforce the belief that you are trustworthy. And when you don't, repair it fast. Ask yourself, what would someone who respects themselves do right now? Then do that. Do it again and again, until self-discipline stops being this heroic effort and starts being your default operating system. Because your ability to commit to yourself determines your capacity to lead, to create, to win. So make damn sure it's solid. Real commitment doesn't live in your words. It shows up in your identity. Surface-level commitment sounds like, I want to start a business. But deep commitment, it says, I am a builder. That's the game changer. One is chasing, the other is being. Ask yourself, are you trying to lose weight, or are you someone who takes care of their body as a standard? Are you trying to make money, or are you the kind of person who creates value and gets paid accordingly? Your language tells on you. If your goals aren't sticking, it's probably because they're not rooted in who you truly are. That's where values-based commitment comes in. This isn't about some vision board fantasy. It's about aligning your actions with what actually matters to you. You want to be rich? Cool. Is it because you value freedom? Or are you trying to silence your insecurity? You want to get fit? Is it about aesthetics? Or is it about energy, strength, and self-respect? When your goals are built on your core values, commitment isn't a grind, it's your default. But none of that matters if you don't make the all-in decision. That moment where you stop playing defense with your life and go full offense. No more half-hearted attempts. No more, I'll try. It's a single decision made at full depth. I'm doing this. Not perfectly, but permanently. You'll wobble, but you won't quit because you already decided. That's what high performers do. They stop negotiating with themselves, they stop chasing motivation, and start honoring their identity. You made the call, now act like it. Let's talk about commitment friction. Because let's be real, sometimes it's not that we don't care, it's that there's stuff in the way. You say you're committed, but life keeps interrupting. You're trying to show up, but there's always something. You sit down to work, but your space is chaotic. You want to work out, but your clothes aren't ready. You say you'll eat clean, but the fridge is stacked with junk. That's friction. It's anything that adds drag to your follow-through, clutter, distractions, unmade decisions, even vague goals. Most people just try to push through it with more willpower, but that burns out fast. What actually works is removing the friction entirely. So ask yourself, what makes your commitments hard to follow through on? What keeps interrupting your focus or momentum? What decisions do you make every single day that you could automate or eliminate? Your environment should support your goals automatically, without needing extra willpower. If your commitment is to read daily, scatter books everywhere, on your desk, your nightstand, even the bathroom. If you're serious about working out, have your gym clothes out before you wake up. If your goal is to eat healthy, don't just try to be strong around junk food. Get it out of the house. Make the right choice the easy choice. When your space is designed around your values, discipline becomes the default, not a daily battle. Now, being committed isn't enough. What matters is the system behind the commitment. Don't say, I'm committed to getting in shape. Instead, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 a.m., I do a 30-minute bodyweight routine. No negotiations. Now it's not a decision anymore. It's just what happens. Document it. Build routines so clear they can run on autopilot. Because when discipline lives inside a system, it survives mood swings, bad days, and motivation crashes. Another very important point. Here's the trap. Every time you decide whether to follow through, you're giving yourself an off-ramp. You need to decide if you're going to eat clean, work out, or show up today. You already decided that. The only decision left is to honor the commitment, or not. Want to follow through consistently? Plan the night before. Batch choices, meals, outfits, priorities. Use if-then backup plans. Like, if I feel tired after work, I'll still do my 15-minute workout because I've already decided this is who I am. No more inner debates. And finally, here's the real mental shift. Discipline isn't about punishment. It's about strategy. Most people think choosing discipline means giving up joy. Nope. Discipline is choosing better joy, long-term joy, over short-term relief. Skipping your workout might feel good now, but so does the energy you feel all day when you move your body in the morning. Eating whatever you want might taste good now, but so does looking in the mirror and being proud of who you see. Discipline isn't the opposite of pleasure. It's just delayed pleasure with interest. You want to know why most people burn out? It's because they confuse commitment with control. They chase outcomes they can't guarantee, like hitting a certain income, losing a set number of pounds, getting a specific result by a specific date. And when it doesn't happen fast, they implode. But the truth? That's fake commitment. Real commitment is to the process, not the result. You can't guarantee how many followers you'll gain, how many clients will say yes, or how fast your body will change. But you can control showing up daily, refining your system, and doing the damn work. That's power. And if you want to build without burning out, this is your pivot point. Process over pressure. Instead of obsessing over a 6-figure launch, commit to publishing every week, serving your clients like gold, and tightening your offer. Instead of weighing yourself every morning and spiraling, commit to your meals, your workouts, and your sleep. Daily. That's where results are born, in repetition without applause. And here's the kicker. Your process won't always feel sexy. It won't always give you dopamine hits. That's why you need loyalty to your system. When it feels slow, when it feels invisible, that's when the compound effect is stacking in the background. But most people quit right there, 2 inches from gold, because they expect to be rewarded immediately. Don't do that. Instead, commit to refining. Check what's working. Drop what's not. Test smarter moves. If the approach isn't getting traction, shift the approach, not the goal. That's the mindset of real builders. You stay loyal to the mission, but flexible in your execution. You don't crumble when it gets hard. You adapt. That's commitment to the process. And that's how you win the long game. Your relationship with yourself is built on the commitments you make and keep with yourself. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, you build self-trust. Every time you break that promise, you erode it. Treat commitments to yourself with the same seriousness you treat commitments to others. Your self-integrity is the foundation of all other success, because it determines whether you believe you can achieve what you set out to do. Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually implement this day by day? How do you reprogram years of inconsistent patterns and build that unshakable commitment we've been talking about? The truth is, most people need a system. Not motivation, not inspiration, a step-by-step framework that guides them through the messy middle when commitment gets tested. Because commitment without a roadmap often leads to good intentions with poor execution. That's exactly why we've been working on something that bridges this gap. Something that takes everything we've covered today about true commitment and turns it into a practical, daily operating system. The mental discipline for success system wasn't born from theory. It was built from working with people who were tired of starting over every Monday. People who had the desire but lacked the framework to transform that desire into unbreakable commitment. That's exactly what this system provides. 6 explanatory videos that show you how to implement everything without overwhelming yourself. A comprehensive guide that takes you from scattered commitment to laser-focused action. And the daily tracking tools that help you build evidence of your own reliability. If you're ready to stop talking about commitment and start living it. If you want a system that actually works when life gets messy, I've put all the details in the description below. But whether you check that out or not, remember this: true commitment isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent. It's about honoring your word to yourself, especially when you don't feel like it. That's how you build the life you actually want instead of the life you settle for. The tools are there, the roadmap exists. The only question left is, are you ready to commit to your commitment? Make it count today. Choose one area of your life where you're ready to move from trying to being. Define what true commitment looks like in that area. Build systems that support that commitment. And then honor it daily. Not because you feel like it, but because that's who you decided to be. The difference between successful people and everyone else isn't talent, luck, or circumstances. It's commitment. Are you ready to stop playing games with your potential and start living like you mean it? If this resonated with you, hit like, subscribe, and comment below. What's the one commitment you're ready to honor no matter what? Your future self is counting on your answer.